Chosen one, stop right here. Don't scroll, don't move. You're not here by chance. You were led here. Heaven interrupted your timeline because there's something God has been trying to tell you. And this is the moment your spirit is finally still enough to hear it. You've been restless lately, haven't you? Your mind jumping from thought to thought, your heart heavy without knowing why. You've been trying to distract yourself with your phone, with people, with noise, but nothing quiets that pull inside you. That's not anxiety, that's not confusion. That's your spirit reacting to divine contact. God has been whispering through the static, through the fatigue, through the moments where you told yourself, I'll deal with this later. But there is no later for what heaven is doing right now. This is the moment where destiny demands your attention. Listen closely. You've been asking for signs, for confirmation that He's still with you, that you're not walking this path alone. And so, heaven orchestrated this moment. Out of billions of voices, billions of videos, billions of seconds in this day, this one was chosen for you. God says, I've been watching you struggle to hold it together, and I've been waiting for the moment you'd finally stop long enough for me to speak. You think you've been waiting on God, but God has been waiting on you, waiting for you to stop scrolling through distractions long enough to let peace find you again. Waiting for you to lay down your worry, even for a moment, so He can remind you who you are. You've been tired, not just physically, but spiritually. Your soul has been carrying the weight of questions that no one else seems to understand. You've smiled through pressure, prayed through pain, and still felt unseen. But heaven saw every single tear, every silent prayer that never made it past your lips. Every night you whispered, God, please don't forget me. He didn't. He never did. He's saying right now, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not lost, you are right on time. The confusion, the chaos, the waiting, none of it was punishment, it was preparation. You've been walking through silence because God was rearranging everything around you for this next phase. And that's why you've felt disconnected, because He's been disconnecting you from the noise that couldn't go with you into what's next. It wasn't rejection, it was divine redirection. He had to clear the room before He could reveal His voice. You've been asking for confirmation that your prayers were heard. Here it is. You didn't just stumble onto this message, you were summoned. The same Spirit that woke you up this morning led you right here because heaven has decided. It's time. Time to stop doubting yourself. Time to stop letting fear mute your faith. Time to stop running from the quiet, because it's in the quiet that God speaks the loudest. Chosen one, this is your burning bush moment. It won't come with thunder. It won't come with lightning. It will come with stillness, the kind that makes your whole body feel lighter. That warmth you're feeling right now isn't coincidence. That's presence. The air around you just shifted because the word found its listener. God says, I know you've been weary. I know you've questioned why I made you wait. But I've been in every step, even the ones you thought were mistakes. You haven't lost me. You've only been learning to hear me. You've been searching for answers everywhere, in people, in signs, in plans, but heaven has been trying to remind you that the answer isn't outside of you, it's within you, because I placed myself in you. Every delay, every detour, every silence has been leading here to this very minute, where you finally stop scrolling and start listening. Because what God is about to say next will not only change your week, it will change the way you listen forever. So don't move. Don't doubt this moment. Let your mind go quiet. Let your heart open. Because the next words you hear won't just sound like a message, they'll feel like home. Heaven is saying, be still. I'm here, and if you can feel it, that sudden peace, that soft trembling in your chest, then you already know this isn't just a video. This is an encounter. Chosen one, stop everything and breathe. You didn't find this message found you. Out of all the things you could be doing, all the videos you could be watching, your spirit was drawn here because heaven needed a moment of your attention. This is not coincidence. This is divine interception. When God wants to realign your path, He doesn't send chaos, He sends clarity. And right now, clarity is entering your atmosphere. For weeks, maybe months, you've felt the spiritual static, that invisible restlessness, the tension between who you are and who you're becoming. You've felt disconnected from everything familiar. Things you once enjoyed now feel empty. People you once leaned on seem distant. The noise of the world has grown louder, but your soul keeps whispering, be still. That whisper is not your imagination, it's heaven trying to get through. This divine interruption is not meant to scare you. It's meant to stop the spiral. You've been running on autopilot, pushing through exhaustion, ignoring the gentle tug inside that keeps saying, slow down. God had to break through your rhythm to remind you that you were never meant to move without Him. The reason your plans started crumbling wasn't because you failed. It's because heaven refused to let you build without divine alignment. Sometimes God interrupts our schedule because our schedule is killing our spirit. He'll close doors we begged Him to open. He'll silence people we thought we needed. He'll rearrange everything we thought was stable, not to punish us, but to protect us. What you call a breakdown, heaven calls a redirection. What you thought was rejection, God calls recalibration. And you may feel like your life has been on pause, but this is the sacred stillness where destiny catches up. The delay wasn't wasted. It was working. Heaven has been recalibrating your frequency so that you can finally hear instruction without distortion. Because what's coming next in your life can't be built with divided focus. God is pulling your spirit out of distraction and into direction. You were led here because heaven needed you to know that your silence hasn't gone unnoticed. Those nights you cried quietly, those days you smiled through exhaustion, those prayers you mumbled when words failed, all of it reached the throne. You thought nothing was happening, but the divine was already in motion. The storm didn't break you. It broke the walls that kept you from hearing God clearly. And now, the signal is clear again. The moment you pressed pause, heaven pressed play. That gentle pull you feel in your chest isn't anxiety. It's confirmation. The Spirit is saying, I'm here. I never left. You see, divine interruptions are invitations. Invitations to reset, to listen, to surrender. They don't come when everything is calm. They come when you've gone too far trying to control what was never yours to manage. God had to stop the scroll because you've been moving too fast to see the signs. You've been praying for answers while drowning in distractions. This is His way of saying, I need your ears back. Right now, heaven is asking for one thing: your attention. because what he's about to reveal can't be heard through noise. It requires stillness. You can't hear divine instruction with a restless mind. You can't receive new direction with old distractions fighting for space. That's why God orchestrated this moment, a divine appointment disguised as a random video. Chosen one, this is not punishment. This is positioning. You were not detoured. You were redirected. The sudden shifts, the endings, the isolation, they weren't mistakes. They were the sound of heaven, rearranging your steps. Every delay was protection. Every silence was instruction. Every closed door was divine mercy in disguise. You've been praying for a sign that God is still with you. This is that sign. He is closer than he's ever been, but he needed to silence the noise before he could speak again. What you feel right now, that warmth, that stillness, that peace that doesn't make sense, is him confirming, I'm not done with you. I'm just beginning again. So don't scroll away. Don't let your mind wander back to the noise. Stay in this moment. The divine interruption has purpose. This isn't random. It's rescue. You are being pulled out of distraction and into destiny. You were led here not to hear something new, but to remember what your soul already knows. You are guided, you are chosen, and heaven has not forgotten your name. And as you listen now, God is whispering through the air between these words. Welcome back. I've been waiting for you to hear me again. Chosen one, there is a voice that no storm can silence. The voice of the one who made you. It has been calling your name quietly, beneath the noise of daily life, beneath the scrolling, beneath the endless thoughts that never seem to stop. That voice has never left you. It's been speaking in the moments you called coincidence, in the feelings you couldn't explain, in the dreams you forgot too quickly. And right now, that same voice is breaking through the walls of distraction to reach you again. You've felt disconnected because you've been surrounded by noise, the opinions, the pressure, the comparison, the constant flood of information that never lets your mind rest. You've been running on survival energy for too long, trying to stay busy so you won't have to feel the ache of stillness. But heaven is saying, be still. You don't need to chase what's already meant for you. When God wants to speak, he doesn't compete with chaos. He calms it. You'll never hear his instruction through the roar of the world. You'll hear it in the pause between your thoughts, in the space where peace suddenly arrives for no reason. That's him. His voice doesn't demand, it invites. It doesn't shout, it resonates. You'll feel it before you understand it. A knowing, a pull, a warmth that moves through your spirit like recognition. Right now, God is clearing your frequency. Every distraction that once felt necessary is losing its grip. The people who drained you are fading from your attention. The things that used to entertain you now feel hollow. This isn't boredom, it's transformation. Your soul is outgrowing what numbed it. Heaven is detoxing your mind so you can finally hear again. You may wonder why God chose this moment to reach you. It's because you've reached the point where distraction no longer satisfies you. The things that used to quiet your loneliness don't work anymore because they were never meant to heal you, only to delay you. God waited until your spirit was tired of noise. Only then could his whisper pierce through. Listen carefully. You've mistaken his silence for absence, but heaven has been speaking through everything. Every closed door, every strange delay, every sudden intuition you ignored. That was him guiding your steps when your mind was too busy to notice. God's voice doesn't always sound like words. Sometimes it sounds like peace that refuses to leave. Sometimes it feels like conviction, a soft ache that tells you something is off. Sometimes it appears as synchronicity, the right person, the right message, the right timing, all arriving like choreography. Heaven doesn't need volume to be clear. It only needs your focus. That's why God is pulling you away from distractions that dilute your discernment. The news, the endless scrolling, the comparison, the overthinking, they all compete for the space where His Spirit wants to dwell. That's why lately, the things that used to hold your attention now feel exhausting. The silence you feared is becoming your sanctuary. The voice of God doesn't just give direction, it restores identity. Every time you hear Him, something inside you remembers who you are. The world calls you lost, but heaven calls you chosen. The world measures you by speed, but heaven moves by alignment. You've been running, trying to prove your worth through progress. But God is saying, you don't need to earn what I already gave you. You only need to listen when His voice breaks through. Everything slows down. The noise in your head begins to quiet. The confusion fades. It's as if the air itself shifts and you finally exhale. That's not coincidence. That's presence. You're standing in the frequency of divine communication. You don't need to strain to hear it. You need to soften. The Spirit speaks to the parts of you that words can't reach. So right now, let the world fade for a moment. Let the phone rest. Let your thoughts unravel. Every breath you take is a doorway to awareness. Every heartbeat is an invitation to remember that you were never disconnected, only distracted. God is saying, I've been right beside you the whole time. You were searching for me in noise, but I was waiting for you in stillness. You don't need to chase signs anymore. You are the sign, proof that heaven still interrupts chaos to reach its chosen. The moment you stop running, the message becomes clear. The storm ends, not because you escaped it, but because you finally heard the voice that commands it to be still. Chosen one, heaven is speaking now. Not in thunder, not in lightning, but in the calm that just entered your chest as you read these words. That peace is not temporary. It's the echo of the eternal voice that never stopped calling your name. Chosen one, silence is not the absence of God. It is often the evidence of Him. The world taught you to equate movement with meaning, to believe that progress requires noise. But the divine operates differently. God does His greatest work in the quiet, in the pauses between your plans, in the unseen hours when nothing seems to be happening. The stillness you've been fighting against is not a delay, it's a conversation. You just haven't learned to listen to its language yet. There are moments when heaven speaks not in words, but in weight. A still heaviness that settles over your spirit and asks you to stop striving. You've felt it before, that sudden urge to withdraw from people, the quiet pull to disconnect from everything, the longing for peace you can't explain. That's not depression. That's not disinterest. That's divine recalibration. God pulls you into stillness when He needs to realign your frequency with His will. In the stillness, your thoughts slow down enough for truth to rise. The voice of fear fades, and the whisper of faith becomes clear. You start remembering that your purpose was never dependent on pace. It was dependent on presence. You've been so busy trying to make something happen that you forgot. Heaven moves through surrender. Stillness is not wasted time. It's sacred ground. God's stillness is strategic. When He quiets your environment, it's because He's speaking to your internal world. He silences external noise so He can amplify His internal instruction. It's in those moments of silence that revelation is born. What used to confuse you suddenly makes sense. What once hurt begins to heal. You start to understand that unanswered prayers were not denial, they were protection. Think of how the earth grows. The deepest transformation happens underground, in silence, in darkness, away from attention. Seeds don't make noise when they break open, but that's when life begins. The same is true for you. God has planted you in stillness because He's preparing something that can't survive exposure yet. You are germinating in grace. The world fears quiet because it forces us to face ourselves, but that's exactly where God meets you. In the space where you have nothing left to hide behind. It's uncomfortable at first. You'll want to fill the silence with sound, conversation, or distraction. But if you stay in it long enough, something shifts. The restlessness fades. The fear dissolves. And in its place, peace begins to hum, low, constant, holy. That's the voice of God teaching you how to rest in His rhythm. He speaks through the breeze that brushes your face, through the stillness before sunrise, through the moment your heart feels warm for no reason at all. His voice isn't always a command. Sometimes it's comfort. Sometimes it's not what you hear, but how you feel when you stop running. The way anxiety melts, the way your body exhales, the way your spirit finally feels safe. That's how you know you're hearing Him. Chosen one, this is why He pulled you away from the noise. You are mistaking motion for meaning. But true movement begins in rest. God doesn't need your performance. He needs your permission. When you surrender to stillness, you give heaven space to move. What you thought was a pause is actually preparation. You've been praying for direction, but direction can't be heard over distraction. That's why God stopped your scroll. That's why doors closed. That's why silence has surrounded you, because He's teaching you that stillness is not punishment. It's partnership. It's the place where your spirit remembers how to hear without fear. Listen now. Feel how the air shifts when you quiet your mind. That subtle warmth in your chest. That's His presence wrapping around you. The peace that suddenly replaces the noise. That's His confirmation. You don't need lightning to prove He's speaking. You just need stillness to perceive it. God is saying, you've been waiting for me to speak, but I've been waiting for you to stop long enough to feel me. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are simply in the stillness of becoming. Everything that feels paused is preparing to move again. But this time, not by force, by flow. Chosen one, this stillness is your sanctuary. Stay in it a little longer. Don't rush to fill it with sound. Because when you learn to love the quiet, you'll realize it was never empty. It was always full of God. And in that realization, the world begins to move differently. The same silence that once felt lonely now feels alive. The same pause that felt frustrating now feels sacred. Because once you hear heaven in stillness, you never crave noise again. This is not the end of your waiting. It's the beginning of your awareness. God is not far away. He's right here, speaking softly, shaping quietly, loving deeply. Be still, chosen one. Because in your stillness, heaven is speaking. And this time, you can finally hear it. Chosen one, take another breath. Deep, slow, sacred. You are not just watching a video right now. You are standing inside a divine moment. This exact second in time was written long before you were even born. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak that brought you here was part of heaven's alignment. Nothing about this moment is random. You are hearing this because God decided it was finally time to reveal what this silence, this season, this stretch of your journey truly meant. For so long, you've been asking, why now? Why me? Why this path? But the truth is, heaven's timing has never been late. It's been precise. What felt like waiting was actually orchestration. While you were crying in private, heaven was setting the stage in perfect order. And now, as you stand here, something within you already knows. The reason you went through all of that was to become who you are right now. This moment is not about new information. It's about revelation. It's the unveiling of what was always true but hidden until you were strong enough to see it. God is saying, everything I withheld, everything I delayed, everything I allowed, it was all leading to this awareness. You didn't miss your moment. You are the moment. You see, divine timing is never about clocks. It's about readiness. And today, heaven recognizes that you're finally ready. Ready to see with spiritual eyes instead of emotional ones. Ready to walk by faith instead of validation. Ready to move not because you're desperate, but because you're aligned. This is why everything feels different right now, even if your circumstances haven't changed yet. Something inside you has. The pressure has been building, not to break you, but to birth this level of awareness. You've stepped into the frequency of realization, that subtle but powerful space where your spirit starts connecting dots your mind never could. Every unanswered prayer now reveals its purpose. Every painful goodbye now looks like protection. Every long night you survived wasn't wasted. It was sacred preparation. God didn't take you the easy way because He was building endurance, depth, and discernment inside of you. Without those seasons of silence, you would have mistaken His whispers for noise. Now you know the difference. The spiritual meaning of this moment is simple. You have shifted from waiting for confirmation to becoming confirmation. You no longer need signs from outside because heaven now speaks from within you. The same spirit that you've been seeking is no longer distant. It's dwelling. You've crossed over from hoping to knowing, from believing to becoming. That's the divine upgrade that this season was preparing you for. Chosen one, do you feel it? The weight that used to sit heavy on your chest has begun to lift. The confusion that clouded your mind is starting to clear. The resistance that held you back is dissolving quietly. And in its place, peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't depend on outcomes. The kind that stays even when you don't have answers. That's how you know you're in alignment. You see, when heaven orchestrates a divine moment, it's never about spectacle, it's about surrender. God doesn't need to prove his power with lightning. He reveals it through transformation. The fact that you can hear this message and feel it, not just with your ears but with your entire being, is proof that heaven is moving. The divine doesn't speak to your mind, it speaks to your memory. That soft recognition inside your spirit is eternity, reminding you that you're home. This exact moment is heaven's answer to every time you prayed, "God, show me you're real." This is that proof, not in the form of miracles around you, but peace within you. The divine isn't trying to change your environment right now, it's changing you, so you can change your environment later. Pause here, feel it. Don't rush past this. You're standing at the intersection of everything you prayed for and everything you were prepared for. You are not at the end, you are at the unveiling. The old you is fading, and the one God designed is stepping forward. And from this moment forward, you won't have to force anything. What's meant for you will recognize you because you finally recognize yourself. That is the spiritual meaning of now. The remembrance of who you are, whose you are, and why you're here. This isn't just another day in your life. This is the day your life becomes aware of its divine assignment. Again, heaven says, you are exactly where you need to be. Stay still, stay open, and watch what I do next. Because from this point on, nothing about your story will be ordinary again. How to recognize a divine interception. Chosen one, there are moments in your journey when heaven doesn't wait for your permission. It steps in. It rearranges everything around you, not to confuse you, but to correct your direction. These moments are called divine interceptions. They often arrive disguised as interruptions, disappointments, or detours. You call them accidents, bad timing, or loss. But in truth, they are the fingerprints of God, redirecting your path towards something greater than you could have chosen yourself. You'll know you're in a divine interception because nothing seems to make sense, yet everything feels significant. Doors you were certain would open suddenly slam shut. People you trusted drift away without explanation. Plans that once felt certain fall apart overnight. But deep within you, there's no panic, just a strange peace beneath the confusion, a quiet knowing that something unseen is taking over. That peace is heaven's signature. It's the mark of divine interference. When God intercepts your path, He's not punishing you. He's protecting you from what you can't yet perceive. Sometimes you pray for guidance, but what you really receive is disruption. That's because direction often comes disguised as disappointment. God will wreck your plans before your plans wreck you. He will block what you think you want so He can deliver what you actually need. You won't see it now, but later, when you look back, you'll realize, if that hadn't fallen apart, I never would have found what was meant for me. The divine interception is not random. It's heaven stepping into human timing to preserve divine purpose. Every chosen one experiences this moment. The redirection that feels like rejection, but is actually redemption. God interrupts cycles you've outgrown, relationships that would drain your destiny, opportunities that look golden but carry hidden poison. He knows what's on the other side of every choice, and in mercy, He blocks the ones that lead to destruction. Pay attention to the subtle signs. When you're walking towards something that isn't for you, your peace will leave first. you'll feel internal resistance, not fear, but friction. Things that once flowed smoothly begin to strain. Doors stop opening easily. Conversation feel forced. That's not coincidence. That's conviction. Heaven is tugging at your spirit, saying, "This isn't the way." If you ignore it, the noise increases until God Himself steps in to stop what your pride wouldn't. The divine interception can be gentle, or it can be drastic. Sometimes it's a missed call, a sudden delay, a gut feeling that tells you to wait. Other times, it's a storm that uproots everything you built. But regardless of how it looks, the purpose is the same: protection. You asked God to lead you, and this is how He answers. Not always with open roads, but with rerouted ones. Think back for a moment. How many times did something fall apart only for something better to emerge later? How many times did a no save you from a disaster you couldn't see? Those weren't coincidences. They were divine interventions. Every redirection you've ever faced was heaven's hand on your shoulder, steering you toward a timeline that matched your purpose. And here's the truth: divine interceptions are often lonely. They separate you from what's familiar before revealing what's next. But loneliness is not abandonment, it's transition. God removes what's temporary to make space for what's eternal. In these moments, the absence of people is replaced by the presence of peace. You're not being left behind, you're being led forward. Chosen one, you are in a season where heaven is moving pieces faster than you can process. Things may feel uncertain, but uncertainty is the birthplace of revelation. Every time you feel blocked, ask not, "Why me?" but what are you protecting me from? The perspective shifts everything. Divine interceptions don't delay destiny, they accelerate it, because they remove detours disguised as opportunities. If you're feeling stripped, paused, or redirected right now, don't resist it. This is not chaos, it's choreography. Heaven is not breaking your life, it's bending it back into alignment. Every ending is making room for a beginning that fits the size of your calling. So, pause, breathe, and trust the reroute. You're not lost, you're being located. You're not late, you're being launched. You're not forgotten, you're being formed. The divine interception doesn't just change your path, it reclaims your purpose. And when the dust settles, you'll realize God didn't take anything from you. He took everything that was taking you away from Him. This is what divine love looks like. Interruption that feels like loss, but leads to liberation. You didn't lose control. You gave it back to the one who never fails to find the way. So, when everything pauses around you, don't panic. Smile. Heaven is working. You're not being stopped, you're being saved. Chosen one, there comes a point in every divine journey when heaven no longer whispers. It commands silence. The gentle nudges that you once ignored turn into interruptions that cannot be escaped. You'll feel it in your body before you understand it in your mind. The heaviness that won't lift, the weariness that sleep can't fix, the strange stillness that surrounds you no matter how much you try to stay busy. That's not depression. That's divine arrest. God is calling you into stillness because what's coming next requires your full attention. You've been moving at the speed of survival, multitasking your way through miracles, giving fragments of yourself to everything except your own soul. Heaven has been patient with your distractions, but now the Spirit is saying, enough. Come back to me. You've been trying to fix, control, and understand everything. And in doing so, you've drowned out the voice that was guiding you all along. When God wants your attention, He doesn't compete. He clears the stage. That's why your plans suddenly stopped working. That's why people who once surrounded you have gone quiet. That's why the doors that used to open easily now stay shut no matter how hard you knock. This isn't punishment. It's preservation. Heaven is reducing the noise so that the next instruction can finally be heard. You've been walking with divine purpose but human focus, and that combination cannot carry you into your next assignment. When heaven demands your attention, the familiar starts to fade. The things that used to comfort you now feel heavy. The conversations that once made sense begin to drain you. Even your goals start to shift, not because you've lost passion, but because your spirit has outgrown small pursuits. God is saying, what you used to call progress, I now call distraction. This season isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more aware. Heaven is asking you to stop running long enough to see how close God actually is. You don't need to chase His presence. You need to notice it. It's already here, in the breath that steadies you, in the thought that brings peace, in the moment you finally feel safe after chaos. That's Him. You've been looking for thunder, but He's been waiting in the whisper. Chosen one, this sacred interruption isn't a delay, it's an alignment. God is fine-tuning your discernment, training you to distinguish His voice from all others. That's why your usual distractions no longer satisfy you. That's why social noise feels unbearable lately. Your spirit is craving purity, clarity, and depth. The shallow spaces that once entertained you now repel you. This is what spiritual maturity feels like. Your appetite changing as your purpose expands. When heaven calls you into focus, resistance will rise. You'll feel the pull to go back to the familiar, to scroll again, to fill the silence with noise. Don't give in. Those urges are just the echoes of your old life fighting for survival. You've stepped into sacred territory now, where your peace is prophetic, your stillness is strategy, and your attention is warfare. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't destruction, it's distraction. If he can't stop your calling, he'll scatter your focus. But heaven knows this, and that's why God is demanding your stillness. He's not taking things away to punish you, He's taking them away to protect the frequency of your purpose. The quieter it gets, the louder heaven speaks. So this is your reminder that divine focus as always precedes divine favor. Before God blesses you publicly, He will silence you privately. He doesn't want your next move to be influenced by fear, opinion, or ego, only by His instruction. That's why He's stripping the noise away. He's getting your attention not to restrict you, but to release you. You might feel like everything around you is slowing down, but that's because heaven is speeding up. God is reprogramming your inner rhythm to move with His timing. You've been living by deadlines. He's teaching you to live by design. Chosen one, stop fighting the stillness. Don't resist the quiet. This is not emptiness, it's calibration. Heaven is downloading your next assignment, and it requires your complete focus. Let go of what's fighting for your attention. It can't go where you're headed. In this silence, you're being trained for clarity. Every distraction removed is a layer of fog lifted. Every still moment is a new frequency of understanding being tuned. God isn't asking for perfection, just attention. Because once you truly listen, you'll hear what you've been praying for all along. The season of noise is over. The days of confusion are ending. What felt like isolation is actually consecration. Heaven is saying, look up. Focus. I'm here. Your next instruction isn't coming through chaos. It's coming through calm. And the moment you surrender to this stillness, you'll realize God didn't silence your world to punish you. He silenced it to speak clearly. This is not an ending. This is the moment heaven reclaims your attention, and with it, your destiny. What God wants you to hear right now. Chosen one, this is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. Everything that has happened, the silence, the stillness, the waiting, the sudden interruptions, has all been leading here. God has cleared the noise, silenced the distraction, and positioned you in this exact space for one reason, so that you can finally hear Him. What He wants you to know right now is simple, but it will change everything. You were never alone. Not for 1 second. Not in the pain, not in the confusion, not in the quiet nights when you felt abandoned. He was there. He's always been there, watching, guiding, protecting, realigning. You thought He was distant because you couldn't feel Him, but distance was never the issue. Distraction was. God says, I've been speaking to you in ways you didn't recognize. In the people I removed, in the doors I closed, in the peace that showed up when you were supposed to fall apart. Every interruption you called inconvenient was me protecting your destiny. He wants you to understand that this season wasn't about punishment. It was about positioning. You weren't losing. You were being led. Heaven has been slowly dismantling everything that was built on fear, so you can finally rebuild on faith. And that's why the process hurt, because divine realignment always feels like loss before it feels like peace. Listen carefully. God is not asking for your perfection. He's asking for your presence. He doesn't need performance. He needs permission. He needs you to open your heart again and let Him in, not as an idea or a ritual, but as your source. You've been surviving on your own strength for too long, carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. Heaven is saying, put it down. Let me carry it now. Right now, God is whispering truth into your spirit. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to have the answers. You don't need to pretend you're okay. You just need to rest in me. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. True strength is found in surrender, in trusting the unseen over the uncertain. He knows how hard it's been. He saw the tears that nobody else saw. He heard the prayers you couldn't even finish. And He's telling you now it wasn't for nothing. Every moment of pain had purpose. Every delay was divine. Every lonely season was me separating you from noise so you could hear my name again. What He's saying right now is that the shift you've been sensing isn't your imagination. It's activation. Heaven is moving you from endurance to emergence. You've graduated from waiting for something to happen to becoming the very thing Heaven has been preparing. That's why your energy feels different. That's why you can't go back to who you were. Your spirit has evolved. You don't need to search anymore. You don't need to chase anymore. The message you've been praying for is being spoken right now. And it's this: you are safe to move forward. You've been standing still, afraid that one wrong step would destroy everything. But God is saying, step anyway. I have already gone before you. You keep waiting for the perfect sign, the perfect timing, the perfect plan. But the perfection was never in your preparation. It was always in His promise. This is not a random moment of inspiration. This is divine instruction. Heaven is commanding your soul to remember who you are. The one who made it through the storm, the one who didn't quit, the one who kept faith, even when everything fell apart. God says, that strength came from me. That's how I know you're ready, chosen one. Everything that felt like delay was building capacity. You're not just stepping into a new season, you're stepping into a new self, one that moves from fear to flow, from striving to surrender, from confusion to clarity. And as you do, you'll realize that the voices of God isn't something that visits occasionally. It's something that's been inside you all along. God's voice is the calm in your chaos. It's the conviction in your heart that says, keep going. It's the intuition that redirects you when logic can't explain why. It's the peace that makes no sense, yet feels truer than anything else. That's the voice speaking now. That's the presence surrounding you. So stop doubting the connection. You're not disconnected. You're being recalibrated. Every frequency in your spirit is being tuned to divine clarity. You're hearing what was always there, and now that you've made space for it, heaven can finally speak freely. God says, I've been waiting for this moment, for you to stop searching for me out there and start recognizing me in here. Right now, you don't need to understand what comes next. You just need to listen. This is holy ground. The message has arrived. The silence has spoken. Be still, chosen one. You are hearing heaven clearly. And what God wants you to hear right now, the truth that will anchor your next season, is this. I never left you. I was waiting for you to come back to me. Chosen one, listen carefully. This is the final revelation heaven wants to leave in your spirit tonight. All this time, you thought God went silent, that He stepped away, that maybe your prayers had gone unanswered. But the truth is, He never stopped speaking to you. Not for a moment. You simply stopped recognizing His voice in the ordinary. You expected Him to sound like thunder, to move through miracles, to shake the ground beneath your feet. But instead, He whispered through subtle shifts, through intuition, through timing, through the peace that followed every act of obedience. His silence was not absence. It was intimacy. It was the voice of a father teaching you to hear without noise, to walk by faith when the signs were no longer visible. Every season you called quiet was actually filled with His conversation. When the relationship ended, He said, I'm protecting you. When the opportunity fell apart, He said, I have better waiting. When you were forced into stillness, He said, be still and know I am God. You just didn't know that peace itself was His language. The final revelation is this. You were never disconnected from heaven. You were being trained to listen at a higher frequency. You wanted answers. He gave awareness. You wanted speed. He gave stillness. You wanted sins. He gave silence. Because silence is where discernment is born. Look at how far you've come. Once, you used to panic when things slowed down. Now, you pause and ask, God, what are you showing me? That's growth. That's evidence of divine communication becoming constant, effortless, alive. The same voice that once called you out of chaos now lives within you. You no longer need external proof. You are the proof. God says, "My child, I never stopped speaking. I spoke through your heartbreak, through your healing, through your hunger for peace. I spoke through the sunrise that met you after the night you thought would never end. I spoke every time you felt something pulling you forward when logic told you to give up. That was me. It's always been me." Heaven doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes it speaks in alignment, the right place, the right time, the right message that arrives exactly when you need it. This moment right here is one of those alignments. You didn't find this message by accident. It found you because your spirit was tuned to receive it. God wants you to know that the days of doubting your connection are over. You are walking into a season where His presence won't feel distant anymore. You'll sense Him in small details, in the pause before you make a choice, in the calm that covers you before an important decision, in the way your heart feels safe when you finally surrender. That's Him speaking, not from above you, but within you. Chosen one, this is the awakening of your spiritual hearing. You'll start to notice divine patterns everywhere. The repetition of numbers, the timing of encounters, the phrases that echo what you just prayed. Don't dismiss them. Heaven is no longer sending hints. It's sending confirmation. And what you're being confirmed in right now is this: God is not preparing to speak. He's already speaking. The question is not, when will I hear Him? But, am I still enough to recognize that I already am? This is the shift. This is the revelation. You've moved from seeking God to walking with Him, from asking for signs to becoming one, from feeling lost to realizing you were being guided the entire time. Let these words settle into your spirit. You have never been forgotten. You have never been forsaken. You have never been unheard. You have never been unloved. Every heartbeat you've ever had was a divine conversation. Every tear was translated into prayer. Every pause was heaven waiting for your yes. And now, as this moment unfolds, God speaks once more. Not through thunder or command, but through the soft knowing rising inside you. You are mine. You've always been mine. And I never stopped speaking to you. Chosen one, carry this awareness with you. Let it change the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you listen, because from now on, you'll hear heaven in everything. In the silence, in the wind, in your own breath. This isn't the end of your conversation with God. It's the beginning of your clarity. The line is open. The signal is clear. The voice has always been there. Now, you finally recognize it. And from this day forward, you'll never mistake stillness for silence again. Heaven says, I never stopped speaking. You finally stopped running.